peg in the wardrobe, shivering. Despite the sunshine, it was unseasonably cold for April. She stood in the centre of the room in her shift and stays and travelling boots, and hugged herself, rubbing the goose-pimply flesh of her arms. She was certain her father had no idea how he cowed her, that he saw only the smooth, indifferent visage she presented the world when she was in his presence, and she intended that he never discover the truth. If he but once realized how afraid of him she was, his casual cruelties would become intentional torment, for Josiah Pembroke despised weakness and showed no mercy to anyone who displayed it. One person in all the world who terrified her, and he was her own father. She rubbed her arms harder. Why was this room still so cold? The fire? No, the grate was cold. Fuel laid on the hearth, but not lit. The unlit fire was an empty space inside Elinor's mind, the potential for flame clamouring at her to become real, so she obliged it with a thought. Instantly the coals glowed as hot as if they'd been lit half an hour before, and small orange-yellow flames stretched out toward her, their heat caressing her bare limbs. She crouched down on her heels to feel the warmth on her face, and resisted the urge to take the fire into her hands, where it would surely burn her. Instead, she moulded it with her desires, made it stretch far up into the chimney, then spread out, puddled like water over the hearth. She removed her kid boots and slid between the cold, slightly clammy sheets, moderately uncomfortable in her stays, but unwilling to wait for her mother's maid, Mostyn, to help her remove them. Suppose I could summon and extinguish a fire so swiftly it could warm these sheets without scorching them. That would be a useful skill. She lay on her back, staring at the ceiling, and went over the short list of uses for an extraordinary scorcher talent appropriate for a lady: putting out house fires, lighting fires in the hearths, lighting the stove when it goes out. It was an extremely short list. I suppose I could offer to light a gentleman guest's pipe, but I can't imagine why I would volunteer to make a pleasant room stink of tobacco. She'd hoped to become a speaker like her father and her sister Selina, years ago when everyone assumed she would manifest at 11 or 12 like anyone else of her social class. Elinor wished more than anything to have the talent to communicate by thought with her beloved older sister and dearest friend. But talent never came for the asking. Her own situation was evidence enough of that. Her father's delight in her extraordinary talent was understandable. Had she been a son, she would not have been nearly so valuable. It was illegal for a gentleman to purchase a bride for the sake of her talent, of course, but there was no law against a man presenting his new wife's parents with a generous gift, and Elinor was certain any man her father considered suitable for her would feel very generous indeed. But her father's primary interest was in seeing her married well, which to him meant a nobleman with the right talent. Mr. Pembroke had spent a lifetime studying everything there was to know about talent, where it came from, how it manifested, but most importantly, what children might result from the pairing of two particular talents. Elinor was certain when he contemplated her marriage, all his concern was for her potential offspring, and where they might fit in the pages of the heavy folio Elinor thought of as his breeding book. Oh yes, she was a valuable commodity. A knock on the door was followed immediately by Mostyn, short and angular, with her cap askew on her blonde hair, awkwardly carrying Elinor's trunk and banging its corners against the door frame. "Excuse me, Miss Pembroke," she said in her colourless voice. Elinor